Hello and welcome to Module 5 of our Small Business Certified AI Strategist program. Throughout the previous modules, we've explored the foundational elements of launching an AI consulting practice that focuses on small businesses. We've looked at building your agency structure, identifying high-impact opportunities, setting up an AI stack, and navigating the critical legal and ethical considerations specific to small businesses. Now it's time to address one of the most important aspects of any AI project, and that is monitoring and measuring the results. It's not enough to implement an AI tool or to automate a process and then walk away. True success hinges on the understanding whether your efforts are truly moving the needle, and that requires clear metrics, consistent oversight, and a plan for refining your approach based on real-world feedback. In this module, we'll cover 4 topics. First, defining success metrics. Then, distinguishing leading versus lagging indicators. Then, employee sentiment and adoption. And then lastly, calculating return on investment. By the end of our discussion, you'll have a practical roadmap for tracking the performance of AI initiatives, ensuring that your clients see real, quantifiable value from every project. So let's jump right in. Now, when we talk about monitoring and measuring AI initiatives, we're essentially talking about setting clear metrics that define what success looks like. Without these metrics, clients may overlook the true value of AI or end up with unrealistic expectations. We can think about success in 4 broad categories. First is business performance impact. Second, operational efficiency. Third, user adoption and satisfaction. And fourth, quality metrics. Let's explore each category in detail at a high level. In a future lesson, I'll teach you how to perform a tool-specific value analysis and also how you can collect these data points post-implementation. First up is the bottom line. Many small business owners want to know, is this AI investment going to help me make more money, or is it going to help me save more money? To address that question, consider tracking the following. The first is revenue attribution. That is how much of your clients' increased sales or upsells can be tied back to this AI-driven tool or tools. Second is cost savings. Are they reducing operational costs, like fewer hours spent on manual tasks, or are they lowering their error-related expenses? A third example is time savings. Can you quantify the total hours freed up by automating certain processes? Are the employees now able to tackle higher-level tasks? And then the fourth example is the overall ROI. This is where you measure the financial benefits, that is the increased revenue, reduced costs, against the total cost of ownership, the software licenses, the implementation fees, the training expenses, etc. Setting these kinds of financial and operational targets helps you keep your AI projects laser focused on what matters to the SMB, real results that they can see in their bottom line. So that wraps up business performance impact, and next is operational efficiency. So not all value shows up as direct revenue. Sometimes efficiency gains are the real game changers, especially for businesses looking to streamline day-to-day operations. So common efficiency metrics that you can identify for every single tool would be process completion time, error rates, throughput, resource utilization. For process completion time, you can ask questions like, how long does a task or a workflow take before or after implementing AI? For error rates, are we seeing fewer mistakes or less rework needed, which in turn boosts productivity? For throughput, can the team or the machine handle more volume in the same amount of time, such as units processed per hour after the AI tools have been implemented? And then resource utilization, are employees freed up to focus on strategic or customer-facing activities rather than these kind of menial tasks? So these metrics give you insight into how effectively AI is optimizing the client's internal processes. The third type of metric is user adoption and satisfaction. Even the best AI solution will flop if the people meant to use it aren't really on board. So that's why user adoption and satisfaction metrics are so crucial. So the KPIs that you can measure in engaging user adoption and satisfaction could be the adoption rate, the usage frequency, the user satisfaction scores, and the training completion. So an example of a question that you could ask for assessing adoption rate is, what percentage of employees or teams are actively using the AI tool? For usage frequency, how often do they interact with it? Daily, weekly, monthly? That one might be a tricky one because some of these tools might just be set up as automations in the background and they're not having to use it at all. But they'll know that it's working in the background and they'll appreciate it because typically that AI tool has reduced the menial task that they were having to do previously. That appreciation will show up in user satisfaction scores. An example of a user satisfaction score would be asking employees if they're finding the tool helpful, intuitive, and reliable. And the way to gather this would be through regular surveys. One of my favorite questions to ask in the user satisfaction scores is, how would your job function change if this tool was taken away from you? And you'll find out very quickly if they say, well, I can't do my job anymore, how important that tool is to them based on that response. And then the last one, an example or a question that you can ask for training completion is, are the team members, are they actually finishing the training modules that are designed to help them use AI effectively? So one of the tools that we use when we go into implementation phase, where we're implementing the AI roadmap, is we put together a learning management system and coursework for each one of the tools and modules, just like this one, and exams. And with these exams, we are able to assess whether or not the individuals have gone through the modules, and we'll be able to assess the score that they take on the exam, and we'll be able to certify them in the particular tools. So these 4 examples, adoption rate, usage frequency, user satisfaction scores, and training completion, these are examples of KPIs that you can gather for individual AI tools to gauge the user adoption and satisfaction rates. And if these numbers are low, you'll need to investigate why. You'll need to investigate, why is this sentiment where it is? And it could be a training issue. It could be a usability problem, or it could just be a simple resistance to change. Remember that people are at the heart of every successful AI initiative. So getting a pulse on that user adoption, satisfaction, and that employee sentiment is crucial to your success. And finally, let's talk about quality metrics and the quality of the AI outputs. This is especially important if AI is generating content, making recommendations, or making critical decisions. So the 4 kind of KPIs that you can pay attention to when you're trying to assess the quality of the AI output would be the output accuracy, the consistency of the quality, the revision requirements, and the compliance adherence. So an example question for the output accuracy is, how often do the AI's predictions or the recommendations align with reality? A second one is for consistency. Is the tool's performance stable, or does it vary significantly from day to day? Then for revision requirements, how often do the humans have to go in and correct and refine the AI's output? And then for compliance adherence, even small businesses need to make sure that the regulatory and the standards are met, especially in standardized industries like healthcare or finance. So just having a thumbs up or thumbs down or a fail pass for compliance adherence for a particular AI tool is something that is an important KPI to report on. So these strong quality metrics they not only underscore the AI's reliability, but they also help you tie performance to operational outcomes. For example, fewer errors often translate to fewer headaches and lower costs. Next is, what's the difference between a leading indicator and a lagging indicator? A big part of monitoring AI initiatives is understanding the difference between these leading indicators and lagging indicators. So a leading indicator are early signals that can predict future results, things like user adoption rates or the number of employees completing trainings. This is usually an indicator of things trending well. You can anticipate positive outcomes in the future. Now, if these leading indicators are not meeting expectations, you can intervene before it's too late. Now, a lagging indicator, these are outcomes that have already happened. For example, like here is our quarterly revenue or the final error rates at the end of a production run. These are critical for confirming whether you ultimately met your goals, but they don't warn you about issues early. So it's impossible to intervene because it's already happened. A balanced approach where you are reporting on leading indicators and lagging indicators will help you identify problems sooner and also provide hard evidence of success once a project is complete. Next, I want to stress the importance of employee sentiment and adoption. So, although user adoption was mentioned earlier, employee sentiment warrants really a separate spotlight. In our work at Strata 52, we've seen AI projects derail simply because team members felt uneasy or left out of the process. So, here's how to keep your finger on the pulse. The first thing, most important thing that you can do when it comes to employee sentiment is regular surveys and feedback loops. So regularly gathering feedback on the AI tool's usability, efficiency, and any pain points. We'll give you a tool here in a future module of how you can partner with an AI tool lead internally inside of the organization to make sure that you have eyes and ears inside of the organization that is helping you gather those surveys and is kind of reporting the employee sentiment to you with boots on the ground. The second is change management. So clearly communicating the why behind the AI rollout of every one of these AI tools is really important. You need to show employees not just the new shiny tool, but you need to show them how it can make their jobs easier or more meaningful. And then third is ongoing support. You need to maintain open channels like Slack groups or regular Q&A sessions or webinars where people can ask questions and they can feel safe to ask questions and report any problems that they're seeing so that way you can address them before they become a lagging indicator. And then lastly is addressing any resistance. If some employees are reluctant to adopting new tools, try pairing them with the AI champions or have a separate meeting with them to really figure out what are their concerns. This is incredibly important because these are the individuals who could be the naysayers of the initiative, and they might prevent your tools or your roadmap from being successfully implemented. So it does take a skill to be able to quickly identify those resistance points and those naysayers and being able to meet with them to figure out what type of time should you be allocating towards those individuals to convert them as quickly as possible from the naysayers into the champions. And a lot of times, the way that you can do that is by giving them added responsibility. So that way they can become the champion of that tool that they were unsure of at the beginning. Now, realize that at the very beginning of this, when you are going through an AI transformation, employees will largely be inherently scared. They will be afraid that management has appointed you as the individual who's going to come in and replace them. You're going to be auditing every single thing that they do in the operations, and you're going to find an AI tool that can replace their job. Now, if that is not a directive by management, then it's important that you let the employees know that. And you need to communicate that with the employees so that way they understand that you're coming in to remove the mundane tasks so that way they can do more of what they love. Now, this is just the human element, and it's just as important as the technical side, because when employees genuinely believe in the AI stack that you're building for them, adoption rates and the productivity of the organization will absolutely skyrocket. Finally, let's talk ROI, a topic near and dear to every business owner's heart. To effectively measure ROI, consider both direct and indirect benefits. The direct benefit of an ROI is direct financial gain. This is revenue increases, cost savings, and reduced errors. Indirect benefits of ROI are increased customer satisfaction, better decision-making, reduced churn, or an improved brand reputation. Now, a few tips for calculating ROI is first, you need to establish baselines. You need to track the pre-AI performance so you have a clear comparison point. Second is you need to account for all costs, and this is at the individual tool level. So you need to understand what are the software license costs, the infrastructure costs, the integration fees, the training, the ongoing support costs for that particular tool and for the AI stack. You also need to be able to demonstrate and pinpoint any incremental value that is gained and how much improvement can be attributed directly to that AI tool or to any other business changes. And then lastly is to present regular updates. You need to share simple, easy to digest reports that highlight the AI's impact. This keeps stakeholders informed and it builds confidence of the initiative. By showing, for example, a 20% lift in productivity or a $50,000 reduction in annual operating costs, you'll make a compelling case for an ongoing investment in AI. Now, what you're going to see in future modules is that we actually perform, and I'll teach you how to perform, an AI tool value analysis, where every single AI tool that we're going to be recommending or that we're going to be building and designing for the businesses when we're designing their AI stack, we will be putting together an AI tool value analysis that allows us to forecast what is this ROI? What is the anticipated payback period for the investment in this tool? And that's kind of the pre-implementation phase or the pre-implementation ROI or the perceived ROI. The next phase of that is actually going out and measuring the actual ROI after implementation. So those are two different phases, and you want to make sure that you define that pre-implementation ROI because that helps you establish the baseline. It helps you establish the KPIs that you're going to be paying attention to. So that way, when you do your monthly, quarterly, annual business reviews, you're reporting on and looking at those KPIs to see if this AI tool is a winner or if it's a loser. And quite frankly, if the AI tool is a loser, we need to make sure that we either pay special attention to that tool to tweak it so that way we can get the ROI that we anticipated, or we recognize that we did something incorrectly and that we spent our time implementing or building an AI tool that, quite frankly, is not performing to expectation. So we get rid of it. So that wraps up Module 5, Monitoring and Measuring AI Initiatives. Over the course of this session, we explored defining success metrics from financial and operational KPIs to user adoption and output quality. We reviewed what are the leading versus lagging indicators, ensuring that you have both early warning signals and a final results-based assessment. And then we also reviewed the employee sentiment and adoption KPIs, where we emphasized the critical human side of AI deployments. And then we reviewed how to calculate ROI so you can clearly demonstrate the value that AI brings to your clients. Now, in future sessions, I'm going to get much, much more tactical. So you can still think of this module as theoretical, high level. I'm going to be providing you with the exact worksheets, the exact prompts. I'm going to show you over the shoulder exactly what we do to generate these value analyses and how we create the ROI and all of the deliverables that go into delivering a plan and an AI roadmap for an organization. So remember that successfully implementing an AI tool is really just one step to drive lasting impact for your agency and for the business. You need to continually monitor these metrics. You need to adapt to the competitive landscape and to the market as you learn what works best, and you need to communicate those wins and those losses back to your clients. That's what separates a functional AI deployment from a true AI success story. Our job is not to be loyal to these AI tools or to be loyal to our plan. We are putting together a plan, and then our intention is to implement that plan, measure and monitor that plan, and then to remove the tools that are no longer serving us and to augment those tools that are showing promise to the organization. In a future lesson, I'll teach you how to perform a tool-specific value analysis and also how to collect these data points post-implementation. In our next module, we'll start getting much more tactical as promised, and this is where I'll start to explain how to start actually building a strategic roadmap. So let's keep going.